you doing this evening?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Excellent. Was at that game last night?
I know, I just got done watching the ultimate, number one on the planet Earth, hillbilly Yinzer, none other than Curt Cignetti, the coach of the Indiana Hoosiers, national champs. Unbelievable.
It's a story that makes any West Virginia or Pitt fan want to cry. We're talking about a guy from West Virginia.
No, he's from Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh? He went to West Virginia, right?
He moved to Morgantown in 1976 because his dad was the coach, WVU, 76 through 79. Bobby Bowden was the coach 73 through 75 and left his dad, Curt's dad, Frank Sr., with no players because Bobby knew he was taking the Florida State job. So Frank had to try to build the program with no returning players. And anyway, he brought the whole family down there. Curt, Frank Jr., Lisa, I think is the daughter's name. They might have some other kids, but so Frank Sr. was the coach at WVU from 76 to 79, and then he got fired after the 79 season. Took 2 years off because he had cancer. They stayed in Morgantown because he was getting treated at the hospital there. Got over cancer, and then took the job at IUP. And I believe he kept living in Morgantown for a couple of years after he had the job in IUP. So Frank Jr., Curt, and Lisa all went to Morgantown High School. And I know that Curt went to WVU for 4 years and backed up Oliver Luck and Jeff Hostetler as a quarterback and did some punting. But that's his connection to West Virginia. He's a Pittsburgh boy. So
yes, we're talking about Cignetti, who takes Indiana to a national championship in 2 years. And when was the last time West Virginia had a national championship?
That would be never. Now, if Frank Stams doesn't land on Major Harris's shoulder on the second series of the Fiesta Bowl in 1988/89, we might have had one that year. Okay. How about this for a connection? I'll let you talk in a second, Veach. How about this for a funny connection? So Notre Dame wouldn't have a championship since like the 60s or something. I mean, maybe the 70s. The 70s, if it wasn't for that one game against WVU in 88. I think it was technically 89. So Notre Dame really shouldn't have a championship since the 70s, and Indiana now has a championship. Indiana University, Bloomington, who had won 3 bowl games until Cignetti took over. And now Cignetti's won 3. So that's kind of funny to me because the Notre Dame fans, I'm sure, look down on Indiana football. But there's your facts.
Well, my one fact is that the University of Pittsburgh hasn't won a championship since Tony Dorsett in 76. So you look at 2 organizations that were incredibly larger than life college football programs that have petered out, and Curt Cignetti goes to Indiana and in 2 years has a national championship. And all I can say is Google him. He wins. And here we are.
Words at the press conference, yeah.
And here we are sitting with, no offense, Rich Rod and Pat, I'm not that very good, Narduzzi. Congratulations, Mr. Cignetti. Hell of a season, hell of a game, hell of a dynasty you got coming. And you deserve it. You deserve it. I only wish it would have been with the University of Pittsburgh. But we had a bunch of crappy ADs that didn't understand what they wanted, what they needed for a football coach. So, congratulations. It was an awesome game. It was an awesome season. I can't feel more excited and happy for you and your family. And the University of Indiana to that point.
Yeah. It's all kinds of hilarious connections here when it comes to Hillbilly Yinzers. Darren DeVries was a coach, the basketball coach at WVU last year. He bolts for Indiana University as the basketball coach there because he wanted to coach a blue blood in basketball. Well, turns out that they're now the champions in football, and the basketball program kind of sucks. And he's getting all this grief from some of the parents of some of his players. And it's just funny how that all works out. And then the new basketball coach at WVU, Ross Hodge, he hasn't done it yet, but he is coming from the same angle that Curt Cignetti came. His winning percentage is crazy good, but it's at North Texas and some other small college down there. Just like Curt Cignetti's winning percentage was at IUP, Elon, and JMU. So, the hope is that Ross Hodge is the Curt Cignetti of basketball, but that's stretching it a little bit, I think. But yeah, these connections are all just kind of peculiar. But the man has got to be respected, And you can say that he's going to lose some of these guys and not be any good next year, but I'm not going to doubt him. All he does is win. Google him.
He's not. I mean, he has built now an incredible fan base for all Indiana alumni. And all those people who weren't giving money in the past for NIL are going to now do it. And then the businesses that are surrounding Bloomington for Indiana University are going to hand the money. I'll even throw another twist into your Ross. What was Ross's last name?
Ross Hodge.
Ross Hodge. Last night, it flashes that Indiana is the second best team in the NCAA for red zone touchdowns. 56. Do you know who number one was?
Red zone touchdowns.
Yeah.
I don't. Oregon?
Nope. You gave it to me when you talked about your basketball coach. North Texas was the number one. So I'm thinking
green.
I think West Virginia's going to win the NCAA tournament. I'm putting money in on it right now.
Here's another Hillbilly Yinzer connection. The North Texas Mean Green. Do you know who they named their mascot after?
Mean Joe Green.
Mean Joe Green, the most famous North Texas alum. There's another connection. Ross Hodge coached the Mean Green, and Mean Joe Green is the greatest defensive lineman in the history of the Steelers.
We got to have him on. We got to have Mean Joe Green on. We got to get Mean Joe Green. Yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to say about Mr. Curt Cignetti? We got to get him on.
Yeah, he'd probably do it too. No, just that the story is amazing. I follow a soccer team called Leicester out of England that won the Premier League in 2016, and there was better odds of Elvis still being alive than them winning the Premier League that year. Well, I think this took it to another level. Like, even though Indiana went 11-1 last year or whatever it was, nobody was betting on them to win the national championship. So if you had that ticket, it was probably 5,000 to 1 or higher. I don't know if anybody had that ticket.
I mean, I'm sure people in Indiana probably took some of that for $1 or $10 or even $100, which was, to be honest with you, well worth it. Not to mention, when was the last time? That's probably Alabama. I was saying, when was the last time somebody went undefeated and won the championship? I'm going to say that's probably one of Nick.
16-0.
Is that a Nick Saban team or is that an Ohio State team?
This was the first time since something like Yale in 1894 or something that a team
Isn't really that
16-0.
long.
Yeah. This story is like an all-timer. Might never be done again.
Makes me so angry.
It does. Me too.
It does.
He could be the coach of either one, Pitt or WVU.
Yeah.
Easily.
Easily. And here, wow. Well.
Instead, we're messing around with the Neil Browns and the Pat Narduzzi's of the world.
Alan Green has his opportunity here. Has his opportunity to go to IU. Say, I want your offensive coordinator to be my next head coach. Which would play right into the parlay of, thank God, play into the parlay of, thank you, Mike Tomlin, for coaching the Steelers, and thank you for stepping down. If we're going to transition into that conversation.
We certainly can. I had one other note on the college coaching side.
Sure.
Another Hillbilly Yinzer thing. So we talked about when's the last time Pitt or WVU had a chance to win the national championship. Pitt, it's obviously been a little while. 1988 with Major Harris, but also when Rich Rod bolted for Michigan after the 13-9 game against Pitt. That team could have easily won the national championship because the parameters were so different back then. They basically, if they win that game against Pitt, they were going to play Ohio State in whatever the bowl was that was the championship that year. And Ohio State at that point still had, hulking linemen and linebackers who were just trying to stop the run. They would have never been able to stop that spread option. And WVU would have beat the shit out of them. But instead, they went on, of course, and played in the Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma and beat the shit out of them. And Rich bolted. Bill Stewart had to take over the team. That's another story for another day. But yet another connection. But yeah, we can move on to Mike Tomlin, who, wow, man. I mean, I have to applaud him that he really did us a solid here by resigning because Art II was not going to fire him. So by resigning, we can now trade him. He can go be an announcer. All kinds of things can happen without too many problems. But the one thing I can tell you for sure is that if I'm the GM or the owner of any other NFL team, why would I want to hire him when I know that he hasn't really won a Super Bowl with guys that he developed and drafted? And number two, he hires his friends. He doesn't hire coaches who want to become head coaches or aspiring to be the best. So having considered those two things, why would you hire him? So I don't think he's coaching again. What do you think?
I'd have to agree with you. I think I don't know if you saw, I don't know what was on ESPN or saw on TikTok. He was down watching his daughter, who's in University of Georgia with gymnastics, and that's awesome to be spending some time with his family. That's what he needs to do, to be honest with you.
Amen.
But I don't think he's going to come back and coach this year. If he's probably anything, taking the year off. I don't know if he has it in his blood like Harbaugh to come back and coach. I think you're right. I think if he does, people would say that they would take him. Obviously, the ESPN people think that he'd be scooped up in a heartbeat, but I don't know if he would. And if you are an owner, is the rawness going to be enough to overcome the lack of quality offensive coordinators and defense coordinators? You start to hear so many different things coming out of Pittsburgh about, his stubbornness or he had to be in charge of the room or whatever. And again, I to be honest with you, I look as a CEO, man. If I'm a CEO, Ernie, of a football team, I'm the head coach. I'm hiring the G-man if he's the best offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. Hopefully he's smarter than me. And, that's only a testament to that I know how to pick the right people to lead my team. And then if you get a job, that's fantastic. It's a feather in my cap that I'm able to select somebody, but we're hopefully also grooming your quarterback coach to be your position as you move on. I mean, that to me is only the natural evolution to coaching, but apparently it's not. He had to be the smartest. He had to have total control. And, you look at it now and say, did we lose 10 years of Steeler football life? Maybe. How many, you look back now and say, well, how many of those games against New England should we have won? Or the game against Denver or any of these playoff games because he wanted to play, well, let's just line up and play. Let's not be that offense that evolves. Let's not be that defense that's different. And all we're doing is the same old, what do you talk about? A Groundhog Day all over again. And to lead into that, I just don't think Art Rooney Jr., whatever you want to call him, I don't have any faith he's going to find anybody. I really don't. I mean, he was going to bring Mike Tomlin back to the fact that he knew that he was going to be in contention. In contention for what? A non-losing season and a first-round loss? Or just a non-losing season and that's it? That says a lot about Mr. Rooney. It says that he just doesn't have, in my opinion, what it takes.
Doesn't want to win.
Want to win, dude. And again, it makes it almost, now you go from, what are we doing with Mike Tomlin? Not we. What are the Steelers doing with Mike Tomlin? Finally, he's gone. And then you hear things come out of Rooney's mouth and you're like, oh my God, we're doing this again. we're gonna do this again. We're gonna find the wrong person, and if we find the right person, hey, I'm happy to apologize. I'm happy to send him a letter, text, an email, whatever he wants to give me. Invite him on the show, and I'll apologize live. But I just don't think he has what it takes to find the next coach. I mean, what do you think?
Well, if they want to stick with the philosophy of local ties, people who understand the culture, Mike McCarthy's got to be at the top of the list. Yeah, is he I mean, I think he's an upgrade over Tomlin, but is he the perfect guy to to lead the Steelers over the next 15, 20 years? Probably not, but I think he's a really good candidate. He's got to be hungry. So, he's a really good candidate to kind of take the team here for 4 or 5 years and see what he can do. He won a lot of games at his 2 other stops. So it's Green Bay and Dallas, right? Yeah, he won a lot of games, man. It's like he knows how to build it. It's similar to Harbaugh, only I think he took it even a step further. I mean, no one's going to get to the Super Bowl for the Cowboys, which, by the way, would be a great place for Tomlin to go because Jerry Jones would love that. He just needs a cheerleader. Well, he wouldn't look like those other cheerleaders, though, would he?
No, he would not.
He wouldn't fit in with the cheerleaders. But, he needs a rah-rah type of coach. But anyway, yeah, I think McCarthy should be at the top of the list. Yeah, there's younger guys up and coming, Kubiak's. There's other, I mean, even Brian Flores I think would be really good, but is Brian Flores going to be able to plug into the Steeler culture? I know he's already been there and he's seen it, but is he really going to feel it? Is he going to feel it like that's his job? That's his last job. That's a job he wants to do the rest of his pro career. I think McCarthy might feel that kind of stuff. And if Omar Khan or whoever's drafting does a good job of, getting a talent infusion in here, then I think Mike McCarthy can do a great job. They need to trade TJ and they need to trade a couple of other guys that have some value and maybe get some picks or get some younger guys. And we need to lose for a year or two. It's going to suck, but it's what's got to happen. And then, hopefully we'll have an infusion of talent. Instead of playing against the Houston Texans, who have got these studs on the defensive line that they drafted really high, and C.J. Stroud, we're going to be that team that has these top 5, top 7 guys instead of, waiting until pick 20 every year and getting guys that we think are great. But is Derek Harmon great? I mean, looked like he was okay. Is Caleb Johnson great? Who knows? Is Joey Porter Jr. great? He's handsy, but I don't know if he's great.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, to your point, it really comes down to what are they looking at? Are they looking for another 20-year coach? And if so, they're not going McCarthy.
Probably.
If that's what they're doing, they're not looking at McCarthy. And that's the whole thing is what's the word I'm looking for? What are the characteristics you're looking for in a coach? That's the thing. If you're looking to win, I think you need to evolve into the offense side because it's an offensive NFL. It's
Agreed.
not defense. So you can't go out. I say that. You can't go out and hire a defense coordinator. Is it going to do the right thing? Because are you thinking Chuck Noll? Are you thinking Cowher? Or are you thinking Tomlin? I think you need to find an offensive mind. Somebody like a McVay that's going to show that ingenuity, the inventiveness, and the success on the offensive side of the ball, and find somebody like a Robert Saleh, if that's how you pronounce his name, and I apologize.
Salah. He
got
hired.
Did he get hired?
Tennessee, I think. Yeah.
Tennessee. So you bring him as that coordinator. I mean, that's my opinion. And again, that's just my opinion as a Hillbilly Inzer fan. That's what you have to take a look at. Again, if you want a real PR thing, and I've talked about these things in the past, especially more with Bucko baseball, you make that phone call to Curt Cignetti. You know what that does from a PR standpoint and just news media? That's what you do. You make that phone call to Curt. Say, hey, Curt, we want to congratulate you on 16-0, winning all. Would you be interested in interviewing for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Let him say no.
You
That's
know he's
fine.
getting a call from the Raiders, so
But that's
why
what I'm
not the
talking.
Steelers? He may actually consider it.
Exactly. And again, I think Curt would be a great one. But if you're looking for youth, an infusion of youth, it's going to be there 15. He's probably not it. I've always liked Bruce Arians. He's from York, PA, where I'm at. I thought he was a great offensive minded guy that took Ben to another level, but then was pushed out because we wanted to run the ball more.
Are you guys the White Rose City or the Red Rose City?
York is the White Rose. Lancaster
White.
is the Red Rose.
White Rose City.
He went to York Catholic and York High, and then he went to West Virginia. No, he went to Virginia Tech as a quarterback. But, I think he's a great mind from an offensive standpoint. Outside of that, all the people that they're throwing out there now, name-wise, there's nobody there that, wows me. McCarthy, man, all right. Flores, not really. Some of the other names, you know who I always said, and I've said it to you many times. Who's the one guy that I said we should have? Go ahead and say it. Who was it? Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson was the goddamn head coach that this team should have taken last year. Asked Mike to leave, retired like he did today, and brought in Ben Johnson. And look what Ben Johnson did just this past weekend. Come on, man.
Yeah, I think he would have been good. Would he understand the culture, though? He fit into that Bears thing perfectly. He's been wanting to kick that LaFleur's butt as a head coach for years now. They got a nice little personal rivalry, don't they? But yeah, obviously Ben Johnson's a great offensive mind. I don't know, man. The Steelers need to think forward and not backward. And then that's tough for them because you look back and you see those 6 trophies and all the glory and you say, this is the way we've done it, since Terry Bradshaw and Franco Harris were drafted. And this is the way we're going to continue to do it. But they just can't do it that way anymore. They got to think like the best teams are thinking now. Like like that quarterback for the Bears, Caleb Williams, he's not ready yet. But some of the stuff he does, some of the athleticism is just next level. And if he can just keep from doing like what Josh Allen does, and just having these ridiculous turnovers and brain farts, whatever you want to call them, he's going to be great. And that's the wave of the future for, is having a quarterback like that. That's what we've got to come across in the draft in the next 2, maybe 3, but hopefully only 2 years.
But that's the thing that really chaps my butt is that Caleb Williams, this is his 4th year, correct? His
third, isn't it?
Is it 3rd or 4th? Well,
yeah.
Regardless, the first 2 or first 3 years, whatever he's been in, he was okay to blah. This year, you give him Ben Johnson, and look what he did. The Steelers have never had a quarterback coach to take anybody anywhere. Even, let's go back to Cowher. Did we really have a good quarterback at all with Cowher? Did we really draft a good quarterback? Please tell me.
Well,
anybody who was better than
under Cowher, right?
Who was better? All right. So they got Ben under Cowher as Cowher was coming.
That was kind of lucky because he dropped.
Yes, he did. But before Ben was what? Class of 2007?
I don't know for sure.
Okay. But. And Cowher, well, it might have been earlier, 5 maybe. Even Cowher left in 7. But who before that with Cowher do we have our quarterbacks? Who were the 2?
Yeah, I see your point.
Neil O'Donnell and Cordell Stewart.
Yeah. And
it's not like it's just.
They had Tommy Maddox too, remember?
Yeah, Tommy Gunn. Again, they're not, what I'm saying is like Ben Johnson took Caleb Williams from here to here in 1 year. And he's going to take him to here another year. And then next I'm not saying the Bears are going to be a dynasty, but they're going to always be there. Here we are, Mike Tomlin, offense coordinator with probably no personality, Arthur Smith, some head coach or some quarterback coach that we don't even know his name, and we can't develop anything. and we bring in Aaron, got one foot in the grave, Rodgers. And it's just, that's the whole thing. They need to find that offensive mind that can develop a quarter. Because are you bringing Rodgers back? If McCarthy comes over, maybe. Who knows? Is Mason Rudolph the answer? Mason's not. But, how good would Mason be under Ben Johnson? How good would Pickett would have been under Ben Johnson? They're all going to be better than under Matt Canada.
Mm-hmm.
How would Will Howard do? I don't know.
What will he do? They're going to have to give him a chance.
But, and then to go to your point there, I think C.J. Stroud is bad. I think any Ohio State quarterback, under Urban Meyer has done squat. Has been a crapola coming into the NFL. Name one under Urban Meyer.
That's one of the best things about this Curt Cignetti thing is just watching the Ohio State fans see this program that they thought was a doormat beat them head to head and then win the national championship. That's almost as good as the Notre Dame thing. It's pretty damn close to as good.
And I'll even throw the other dart, the beautiful catch that guy made, number 13, whatever his name was, against Penn State at Beaver Stadium to beat him at the end of the game. Cheer that one on. Yeah. There is so much confusion in my head.
Is there a Penn State fan who's a hillbilly Yinzer? That's a pretty good question.
Well, that's something we got to think about that we want in our club. I don't even know that we won't even want to accept that into the club. That
is interesting. Yeah, a little tease there for our pending feature, the top 10 hillbilly Yinzers on the planet Earth. Look for that on our socials soon. Well, yeah, look, we can wrap it up there, buddy. That was some great stuff going on, and we'll pick it up again next week. Shout out to Crawford's Black and Gold, of course, for sponsoring this burgeoning podcast that's going to win the Golden Globe next year over Amy Poehler and over the what's the brother's name that's dating Taylor Swift?
Kelsey brothers?
Those guys.
Come on. Those two, I don't even want to say it. Oh, I could, and it would.
They'll be nominated, but
they're going to sit there. All they do on their podcast is eat cereal, isn't it? Isn't that all they do is just eat cereal?
Yeah. They got no followers. We literally have no followers, but that's going to change.
Yes,
we're on
exactly.
The up and up. But anyway, anything else you wanted to add, buddy, before we signed off for this week?
No, we'll come back and we'll talk about a lot of other stuff. All you Hoobiliansers out there, it's going to be Steeler conversation until somebody's selected, which probably is not going to happen until after the Super Bowl. And we got the wonderful world of Ben Chubbington with the Buccos.
Spring training coming up. The last spring training till 2028. So we're going to milk it.
Yeah, how about that? Oh, hey, why don't you kick in with the big Moonshine Minute?
Oh, Moonshine Minute. All right, WVU update. Get your pit bit ready. We were talking about Ross Hodge being maybe the Curt Cignetti of college basketball because
I like it.
Ross Hodge won at a clip at North Texas and his previous small college as much or more than Curt Cignetti won at IUP, Elon, and James Madison. So maybe Ross Hodge is the Curt Cignetti of college basketball. Here's hoping on that. Other than that, I haven't followed closely enough the crazy transfer portal stuff. I know that WVU lost Rodney Gallagher, another hillbilly Yinzer, a guy from Western PA that went to WVU. Lost Curtis Jones Jr., who's a kid from Huntington, West Virginia, who I guess got a big check from James Franklin and the Hokies, so he left. And 25 guys have left, but he's brought in 35. So I don't know what to expect out of that, but it'll be interesting. And then the women's basketball team at WVU is doing really well. They just got back in the rankings. And their coach, Mark Kellogg, nobody knows who the hell he is, but he's a hell of a coach. And now on to the pit bit.
Is there a pit bit? Let's see. Our pit bit would be
there might not be a pit bit.
Jeff Capel is still coaching the University of Pittsburgh's basketball team after losing to Louisville 100-59.
These guys are on the take, man. He's concerned.
And our women's basketball coach, who Heather Light hired from UMass, has been devastating for the last 4 years.
In a good way?
No, bad way.
Okay.
That team has been brutal. And again, I don't know. Man, you got me all upset now. I can't even talk. This is bad. The Pitt Bits is the University of Pittsburgh.
You said
sports.
You were going to bring in one of the volleyball players as one of our first guests. So
we should. Olivia
Get that done.
Babcock. She's fantastic. Alan Green, I just think you need
Final
to.
Four.
I mean, I can't even say anything bad about Alan Green because I don't even know Alan Green, but he needs to start firing people. You know, and the AD. Well, yeah, I wish him the best of luck. That's all I got to say. Cranium, starfish. We got to figure it out.
And that's this week's Pit Bit, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Vij. Well, great chatting with you, buddy. And we'll pick it up next week and try to keep building.
G-Man, it's always a pleasure. I look forward to the conversation next week.
All right. And if you all have suggestions for topics and you want to chime in on anything, hit us up at podcast@hillbillyinzer.com. You see it on the screen there, which I will do in post-production, Vij.
Nice.
All right. Have a good one.
You
Talk
too.
to you next week.
Out, everybody.
Later. Bye.